Kang Min-jae has killed 17 men in his life. He knows what a killer looks like. And right now, at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon in his private garden in Seongnam, he's watching one teach his 8-year-old son how to break someone's wrist. The woman's name is Joan Williams. At least, that's what her employment papers say. She's been his live-in housekeeper for exactly 3 weeks and 2 days. Quiet, efficient, keeps her head down. The kind of employee who folds his shirts with military precision and never asks questions about the bloodstains. But this... Min-jae stands frozen in the doorway of his study, whiskey glass halfway to his lips, watching through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Joan has Yoon by the shoulders. She's crouched to his level, her dark brown skin gleaming with sweat in the late afternoon sun. She's wearing the standard black uniform all his household staff wear, but she's rolled the sleeves up to her elbows, exposing lean, muscled forearms that don't belong on any maid he's ever employed. When someone grabs you here, she wraps her hand around Yoon's small wrist. You don't pull away. That's what they expect. You rotate. Like this, she demonstrates. Slow, controlled. The movement is so smooth, it looks like water. Yoon copies her. His face is scrunched in concentration, tongue poking out the corner of his mouth. And then his son laughs. The sound punches through the double-paned glass like a gunshot. Min-jae hasn't heard that sound in 2 years. Not since the accident. Not since Hae-jin's car went off the bridge. And Yoon stopped speaking for 6 months and started waking up screaming every night. But right now, in this moment, his son is laughing. Bright and clear and alive. Joan laughs with him. She ruffles his hair, something Min-jae's own mother never dared to do, and resets his stance. Again, but faster this time. Imagine someone's trying to drag you away from your appa. Yoon's face goes serious. He nods. She grabs his wrist. He rotates, breaks her grip. Not perfectly, but close enough. Good, Joan's voice carries across the garden. Now, if they're bigger, you don't fight strength with strength. You go for the weak points. Eyes, throat, knees, always the knees. She taps each point on her own body as she speaks. Min-jae's blood goes cold. That's not self-defense. That's combat training. He sets down the whiskey. His hand moves automatically to the Glock holstered under his suit jacket. Who the hell is this woman? Before we go any further, I need to hear from you. Have you ever trusted someone, only to discover they were hiding something? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're already hooked, hit that like button so I know you're here for the drama. Let's get into it. Min-jae doesn't move for another 5 minutes. He watches Joan finish the lesson. Watches her make Yoon practice his breathing. Deep inhales, controlled exhales. The kind of tactical breathing Min-jae's own men use before hits. Watches her scan the perimeter of the garden 3 times while Yoon drinks water. She moves like a soldier, like someone who's been hunted, or someone who's done the hunting. When she finally leads Yoon back inside, Min-jae is waiting in the kitchen. Yoon spots him first. Appa. His face lights up. Joan taught me how to protect myself. Wanna see? Go wash up, Min-jae says quietly. Dinner in 30 minutes. Yoon's smile falters. He glances at Joan. She nods once, reassuring, protective, and the boy scampers off toward the stairs. The kitchen goes silent. Joan stands by the sink, hands folded in front of her, eyes downcast. The perfect picture of domestic submission. Except Min-jae can see the tension in her shoulders, the way she's positioned herself with clear sight lines to both exits, the way her weight is balanced on the balls of her feet. What maid knows Krav Maga? He asks in Korean. She doesn't flinch, doesn't pretend not to understand. I don't know Krav Maga, Mr. Kang, she answers in perfect, unaccented Korean. My father taught me self-defense when I was young. I was just playing with Yoon. Playing? Yes, sir. You taught my 8-year-old son how to strike someone's trachea. I taught him how to protect himself if someone tries to hurt him. Her eyes flick up. Meet his. There's steel there. Given who his father is, I assume that was a useful skill. The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. Min-jae takes a step closer. Joan doesn't move. doesn't back away. Most people shrink when he invades their space. She just holds her ground. Interesting. Who are you? He asks softly. Your housekeeper, sir. Try again. Joan Williams, age 27. South African passport. Working visa expires in 8 months. References available upon request. Her voice is steady. Rehearsed. You ran my background check before you hired me. Everything cleared. He did run her background. It came back clean, almost too clean. South African, he repeats. Yes, sir. You don't sound South African. I've lived in many places. And learned combat training in all of them? My father was military. He believed women should be able to defend themselves. She pauses. Is there a problem with me teaching Yoon basic self-defense? I can stop if you prefer. It's a calculated move. She knows he won't say yes. Not when Yoon is finally smiling again. Min-jae studies her for a long moment. She's beautiful. He noticed that the day she interviewed, but not in the way that usually catches his attention. There's something harder about her, something that doesn't ask for protection. You'll continue Yoon's lessons, he says finally. 1 hour every afternoon. But if I find out you're lying to me about who you are, you won't, she interrupts softly. Bold, stupid, or confident she can disappear before he finds the truth. We'll see, Min-jae murmurs. He leaves the kitchen, pulls out his phone, texts his head of security. Run a deeper check on Joan Williams. Everything. I want to know what she ate for breakfast 10 years ago. The reply comes 30 seconds later. Yes, sir. Joan lies in her small bedroom on the 3rd floor and stares at the ceiling. Idiot. She shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have trained the kid. Shouldn't have drawn attention. But when she'd seen those bruises on Yoon's arms last week, the finger-shaped ones that only come from other children grabbing too hard, from bullies who know a target when they see one, something inside her had cracked. She knows what it's like to be the weak one, the hunted one. She's spent 8 months running, 8 months looking over her shoulder, 8 months waking up in cold sweats, seeing Kofi's face, hearing Amara's screams, feeling Deal's blood on her hands as he bled out in that Accra hotel room. Run, Joni, don't look back, just run. Deal's last words. She ran. Straight through Ghana, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Turkey, China, and finally South Korea. Working under-the-table jobs, sleeping in hostels, changing her name 3 times. The hit was supposed to be clean, simple, protect the diplomat during the summit, get paid, go home. Except the diplomat wasn't clean, and the assassin who put 2 bullets in his skull in front of Joan and her entire 5-person team wasn't working alone. The diplomat was laundering money for half the West African cartels. The assassin was sent by people who don't leave witnesses. Joan survived because she was in the bathroom when the shooting started. She survived because Dell pushed her into the service elevator and hit the button and died buying her 30 seconds. She survived because she's good at surviving. But Kofi didn't. Amara didn't. Rashid and Zainab didn't. And the people who killed them have been hunting her ever since. So no. She can't afford to be noticed, can't afford to show off skills that will make people ask questions. But Yoon, with his big scared eyes and his trembling hands, and the way he flinches every time a door slams. Yoon, who looks at her like she's safe. Joan exhales slowly. She'll be more careful. She'll keep her head down. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. Her blood turns to ice. She stares at the screen for 3 seconds before opening the message. Nice garden. Seongnam is lovely this time of year. No. A photo loads beneath the text. It's her. In the garden, with Yoon. Taken today. Joan is moving before she consciously decides to move. She's out of bed, dressed in 30 seconds, backpack already packed because she always keeps it packed. She has maybe an hour, maybe less. She moves toward the door. And freezes, because Yoon is sleeping 2 floors down, and Min-jae's security is good, but it's not that good. If they found her, if they're watching the house, if they decide to send a message. Her child is collateral damage. She knows that. She's seen it. Just run, Joni. But her hand is already moving to the burner phone in her bag. already pulling up the emergency number she swore she'd never use. She sends a single text. They found me. Korean Mafia boss's house, Seongnam District. There's a child. Please. The response comes in under a minute. Sit tight. Help is coming. Joan closes her eyes, sits down on the edge of her bed, and starts to pray. Min Jae is reviewing the security report when his head guard, Park Ji-hoon, knocks on his office door. Come in. Ji-hoon enters. He looks grim. The background check on Joan Williams came back. Min Jae sets down his coffee. And? Everything checks out. South African passport is legitimate. Work visa is legitimate. References are legitimate. Ji-hoon pauses. Almost too legitimate. Meaning someone built her a very expensive false identity. There it is. Min Jae feels something cold settle in his chest. Not anger, not yet. Just calculation. Who is she really? We don't know yet, but I pulled the security footage from last night. Ji-hoon sets a tablet on the desk, pulls up a video. Watch. The timestamp reads 11:34 p.m. Joan is in her room. She gets a text. Her face goes white, and then she moves. In 30 seconds, she's packed. In 45 seconds, she's dressed. In 60 seconds, she's standing at her door like she's about to bolt. But she doesn't. Instead, she pulls out a phone Min Jae's security team didn't know she had. Sends a text, waits, and then she sits down and stays. She was going to run, Ji-hoon says quietly. But something made her stay. Yoon, Min Jae murmurs. Sir? She stayed because of Yoon. Min Jae replays the video, studies Joan's face, the fear there, the conflict. Who texted her? We're tracking it, but sir... Ji-hoon hesitates. Say it. 3 suspicious vehicles circled the neighborhood between midnight and 3 a.m. 2 vans, 1 sedan, all with blocked plates. Our perimeter cameras caught them. Min Jae's hand tightens on the tablet. You think someone's watching the house? I think someone's watching her, which means his son is in the blast radius. Min Jae stands. Double the security on Yoon, no one in or out without my approval, and bring Joan to my office. Sir, now. Joan enters Min Jae's study flanked by 2 guards. She looks exhausted, like she hasn't slept, but her spine is straight, her chin up. Sit, Min Jae orders. She sits. He slides the tablet across the desk, shows her the footage of last night. Tell me who you really are, he says quietly. And tell me why someone sent 3 cars to watch my house last night. Joan's face goes carefully blank. I don't know what you're talking about. Wrong answer. Min Jae leans forward. I have a son sleeping 2 floors above us. If you brought danger to my door, I will put a bullet between your eyes myself. Do you understand? Her jaw tightens. For a long moment, she says nothing. And then, my name is Joan Williams, she says softly. That part's true. I'm 27. I'm not South African. I'm Ghanaian. I worked private security in West Africa for 6 years. Elite clients, diplomats, CEOs, people who need protection in unstable regions. Min Jae says nothing. Waits. 8 months ago, I was assigned to protect a diplomat during a summit in Accra. Someone put 2 bullets in his head while I was 20 feet away. Then they killed my entire team. Her voice doesn't shake. I survived because I ran, and I've been running ever since. Who's hunting you? I don't know. The diplomat was dirty, money laundering, cartel connections. Could be any of a dozen organizations who wanted him dead and don't want witnesses. And you chose to hide in my house? I chose to hide in a house with top-tier security and a man who understands how to stay off the grid. Joan meets his eyes. I wasn't trying to endanger Yoon, I swear. I thought if I just kept my head down, stayed invisible. You trained my son in hand-to-hand combat. I trained your son to survive. Her voice hardens. Because I saw the bruises, Mr. Kang. I saw the way he flinches, and I knew if something ever happened, if someone ever targeted you through him, he'd need every advantage. It's a fair point, a terrifying one, but fair. Min Jae studies her. She's not lying. He'd stake his life on it. The text last night, he says. What did it say? Joan hesitates. Then she pulls out the burner phone, shows him. Nice garden. Seongnam is lovely this time of year. The photo of her and Yoon. Min Jae's blood goes cold. You put my son on their radar. No. Joan's voice is urgent now. I made sure no one could trace me here. I've been careful. She stops. Swallows hard. I think they've been watching me for weeks. Waiting. And yesterday, when I trained Yoon in the garden, I was visible from the street. I got careless. Who did you text after? A contact. Someone who can help. Who? Someone you don't want to know about. Min Jae almost laughs. This woman, this stranger who's been living in his house for 3 weeks, who he caught training his son like a soldier, who just admitted she's been hunted across continents, is trying to protect him, brave or insane. Let me be very clear, Min Jae says softly. If anyone comes for my son because of you, I will end them. And then I will end you. Are we understood? Joan doesn't blink. If anyone comes for your son, they'll have to go through me first. You're a housekeeper. I'm a soldier. The door to the study opens. Ji-hoon enters, face urgent. Sir, we have a situation. Yoon's school calls at 8:47 a.m. There's been an incident. Min Jae is in the car with Ji-hoon and 3 guards in 4 minutes. Joan insists on coming. He doesn't argue, mostly because he wants her where he can see her. They arrive at the elite private academy to find Yoon sitting in the principal's office, unharmed but shaking. 3 other boys, all older, all bigger, sit across from him with their furious parents. The principal, a thin woman with steel-gray hair, stands when Min Jae enters. Mr. Kang, thank you for coming so quickly. What happened? There was an altercation in the courtyard before classes. These 3 boys attempted to take your son's watch. Yoon defended himself. Min Jae's eyes cut to his son. Are you hurt? Yoon shakes his head. He broke Minho's nose, one of the mothers shrieks. Your son is violent. He should be expelled. Min Jae looks at the boy in question. Minho, 12 years old. Nearly twice Yoon's size. My son is 8, Min Jae says coldly. And you're telling me he broke a 12-year-old's nose? He used some kind of martial arts. Another father, thin, weasel-faced, steps forward. He struck my son in the throat. This is unacceptable. Min Jae glances at Joan. She's standing by the door, face carefully neutral, but there's pride in her eyes. Yoon, Min Jae says quietly. Tell me what happened. Yoon's voice is small. They cornered me by the bathrooms. Minho said he wanted my watch. I said no. He grabbed my wrist. Pause. So I rotated, like Joan taught me, and when he didn't let go, I went for the weak points. Silence. The weak points, the principal repeats faintly. Eyes, throat, knees, Yoon recites. Always the knees. One of the fathers turns purple. Who is teaching this child to be a thug? I am, Joan says from the doorway. Every head turns. She steps forward, bows slightly to the principal. I'm Mr. Kang's employee. I've been teaching Yoon basic self-defense. He was outnumbered 3-1 by boys significantly larger than him. He defended himself appropriately. Appropriately. Weasel-face turns on her. You taught a child to survive, Joan interrupts. Her voice is calm, polite, but there's steel underneath. Your sons attempted to rob him. He protected himself. If you have an issue with that, perhaps you should teach your children not to assault smaller kids. The mothers gasp. Min Jae almost smiles. The principal clears her throat. Miss Williams, while I appreciate your perspective, this school has a zero-tolerance policy for violence. Then I suggest you enforce it equally, Min Jae says softly. Because if my 8-year-old son is being expelled for defending himself against 3 boys who tried to rob him, I will be making a very generous donation to the competing academy across town, along with an interview about how this school protects bullies. The principal's face goes white. Weasel Father's face goes red. Are you threatening us? Min Jae smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. I don't make threats. I make promises. Okay, pause for a second. I need to know. Team Yoon or Team Bullies? Drop your vote in the comments. And if you think Joan is the realest one in this whole situation, hit that subscribe button. We've got a long way to go. and you don't want to miss what happens next. Let's keep going. That afternoon, they leave the school with Yoon unenrolled. Min-jae will find another academy, a better one that doesn't cater to entitled brats. But the real problem becomes apparent 30 minutes after they return home. Ji-hoon pulls Min-jae aside. That father, the weasel-looking one. His name is Choi Dae-sung. Should I care? He's connected to the Hwaseong faction. Min-jae goes very still. The Hwaseong faction. Rival gang. Bitter enemies. The same people who may or may not have been responsible for Hae-jin's accident. You're telling me one of their men's sons just got humiliated by my 8-year-old? Yes, sir. This is bad. This is very bad. Min-jae looks across the living room to where Joan sits with Yoon, reading him a book. His son is curled into her side, finally calm. She stayed. Even though running would have been smarter, even though she knew her hunters were close. She stayed because of Yoon. And now Yoon is a target for 2 different threats. Min-jae makes a decision. Ji-hoon, I want full lockdown. No one in, no one out. Rotate guards every 4 hours. Run background checks on anyone who's delivered food, mail, or packages to this house in the last month. And the woman? Min-jae watches Joan. Watches the way she keeps one hand near her ankle. Where he'd bet money there's a knife strapped. She stays, he says quietly. She's more useful inside than out. Sir, she's a liability. She's a soldier. Min-jae's voice hardens. And right now, I need soldiers. The house has become a fortress. Joan counts 16 guards now. Maybe more. They rotate shifts like clockwork, check IDs, sweep the grounds, and they all watch her like she's a bomb about to explode. She doesn't blame them. But Yoon doesn't care. Yoon still seeks her out for training, for stories, for comfort when the nightmares come. Joan, he whispers on the 3rd night, standing in her doorway at 2 a.m. Bad dream. He nods. She opens her arms. He climbs into her bed, small and fragile, and she holds him while he shakes. I'm scared, he whispers. Of what? That you'll leave, like Iyama did. Joan's heart breaks. Your mom didn't want to leave Yoon, but she did. And now everyone says I'm in danger because of you. She closes her eyes. Do you want me to leave? Long silence, then, no. Then I'll stay. Promise? Joan shouldn't promise. She's a target. She's dangerous. The smart thing, the right thing, is to disappear before someone gets hurt. But when she opens her mouth, what comes out is, I promise. 4 days later, Min-jae finds Joan in the training room at midnight. She's running drills, striking the punching bag with brutal efficiency. Her knuckles are wrapped, her tank top soaked with sweat, her breath coming in controlled bursts. She doesn't notice him watching. He should leave, should let her have this moment. But instead, he steps inside. You're good, he says. Joan spins, hand moving to her ankle before she recognizes him. Relaxes. Mr. Kang. Min-jae. She blinks. Sir, call me Min-jae. He moves closer, studies her. You've been here for a month. You've saved my son twice. I think we're past formalities. Joan's throat works. Why are you really letting me stay? She asks quietly. Your men think I'm dangerous. You are dangerous. Then why? Because Yoon needs you. Min-jae pauses. And because I think you're more afraid of failing him than you are of dying. It's the truth. He sees it in the way her eyes flicker. I won't let anyone hurt him, she says. I know. Even if it kills me. I know that too. They stand there 2 feet apart, the air between them charged with something Min-jae hasn't felt in years. Trust. Teach me, he says suddenly. Joan frowns. Sir, teach me. Whatever you taught Yoon. I want to know how you fight. She stares at him like he's grown a second head. You're a Mafia boss. And you're a bodyguard who's been hunted across 3 continents. Humor me. For a moment, Joan just looks at him. Then she smiles. Okay, but if I accidentally break something, don't fire me. Min-jae almost laughs. Deal. 1 week later, it happens at 3:47 a.m. Joan wakes to the sound of breaking glass. She's moving before her brain fully engages. Gun from under her pillow, knife from her ankle. Door open in 4 seconds. The hallway is dark, too dark. Someone cut the power. She moves toward Yoon's room and nearly collides with Min-jae. He's armed, dressed in black. His face is carved from stone. How many? She whispers. At least 6. Ji-hoon is handling the perimeter. I need to get Yoon to the safe room. I'll cover you. They move together. Perfect synchronization. Yoon's door is still closed. Joan opens it carefully. Yoon is awake, sitting up in bed, eyes huge. Appa. Come here, buddy. We're going on an adventure. Min-jae scoops him up. Joan takes point. They move down the hallway, down the stairs, toward the panic room hidden behind the wine cellar. They're 10 feet away when the first attacker appears, masked, armed. Joan doesn't hesitate. She fires once, center mass. He drops. Go! She shouts to Min-jae. He runs with Yoon. Joan turns and comes face to face with 3 more attackers. Joan has fought for her life before, in Lagos, in Accra, in back alleys across a dozen cities. But this is different. Because this time, there's a child 10 feet behind her, a child she promised to protect. So when the first man lunges, she doesn't just disable him. She ends him. Gunshot to the knee, knife to the throat when he falls. The second man fires. She rolls, comes up shooting, double tap to the chest. The third man is faster, bigger, trained. He closes the distance before she can fire again, knocks the gun from her hand, pins her against the wall. Joan drives her knee into his groin. He grunts, doesn't let go. She headbutts him. His nose crunches. His grip loosens. She slips free, grabs the knife from her ankle. He grabs her wrist. They struggle, and then a gunshot. The man's head snaps back. He collapses. Joan looks up. Min-jae stands at the entrance to the safe room, gun raised, face cold. You okay? He asks. Joan nods shakily. Yoon? Safe. Min-jae moves toward her. Ji-hoon and the guards are finishing up. We need to... Another gunshot. Min-jae's shoulder jerks back. Blood blooms across his shirt. No! Joan catches him before he falls, drags him toward the safe room. A 4th attacker appears at the top of the stairs. Joan fires blind, keeps firing until the gun clicks empty. The attacker drops. She doesn't wait to see if he's dead. She gets Min-jae into the safe room, slams the door, locks it. Yoon is sobbing in the corner, Min-jae is bleeding, and Joan finally lets herself shake. They survive. Ji-hoon and the guards eliminate all 6 attackers. 2 more were waiting outside. Min-jae's shoulder wound is through and through, painful but not life-threatening. Yoon is physically unharmed but traumatized. And Joan sits on the edge of the bathtub in Min-jae's private bathroom at 7 a.m., washing blood off her hands. There's a knock. Come in. Min-jae enters. His arm is in a sling. He looks exhausted. Yoon's asleep, finally. Joan nods. Silence. Who were they? She asks quietly. Hwashong faction. Choi Dae-sung sent them as payback for the school incident. Not my people? No. Min-jae sits on the edge of the tub beside her. Yours are still out there. She closes her eyes. I should leave. No. I'm endangering you, both of you. You saved our lives tonight. I also brought danger to your door. And I brought danger to yours. Min-jae counters. We're even. Joan looks at him. Really looks at him. This beautiful, deadly, exhausted man who's been alone for 2 years, raising a traumatized son, running a criminal empire, carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Why do you want me to stay? She whispers. Min-jae reaches out, tucks a loose curl behind her ear. Because when I thought you were going to die tonight, I realized something. What? That I don't want to do this alone anymore. Joan's breath catches. Min-jae? Stay, he says softly. Not as the maid, not as the bodyguard, just stay. She shouldn't. She really, really shouldn't. But when she looks into his eyes, dark and tired and so desperately hopeful, she finds herself nodding. Okay, I'll stay. And there it is. Joan Williams, soldier, survivor, fighter, finally stops running. But the question is, will her past let her stay? If you made it this far, you're the real one. Hit that like button, drop a comment telling me what you think happens next, and subscribe so you don't miss the continuation of this story. Where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. Thank you for spending the last hour with me. This is Soul Heart Stories, where love defies borders and warriors fall for Mafia bosses. See you in the next story. Stay blessed.